Welcome to Securing the Bag, The Root's exclusive interview series about work, entrepreneurship, and the secrets to success. Today, we have an amazing guest with us, Daymond John, who's just written a children's book, Little Daymond Learns To Earn, coming out on March 21st. Welcome, Daymond.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love the name, Securing the Bag. I love it.
Why is it so important that children learn financial literacy?
Yeah, so, the whole book is about, in lack of a better word, securing the bag, and it is about teaching them in a fun, very educational way, and the parents together collectively, financial literacy or financial intelligence. And why is it important? Because we are just not taught that. So, I have a new daughter. She's 6 at the moment. I have my older girls, so they're 29 and 24, and thank God they've grown up to be amazing people. My little girl, I was realizing I was trying to teach her to understand how to save and what the importance is of money. And like any other kid, you know how hard daddy works? No. I mean, they're brought into a world and they're not taught that. But in school, the school system is really old in the days. They're still talking about going to shop and various other trades that you may have needed in World War II. But today, in the information age and various things, you will start getting hit with ways to spend money, a child, immediately with apps, right? With various other things.
Absolutely.
Parents, you see all these people come on Shark Tank. The biggest challenge these people had on Shark Tank is they didn't know how money worked really in the beginning, and now they need help, right? But what if we taught our children and our parents together about how money works at an early age and slowly integrate that into their lives? Because if you don't know how it works, well then, at 16 years old, 17 years old, you want a $500,000 student loan? The big, and I have nothing against these big institutions, but they have financial intelligence. Oh, they're building colleges and they're buying a lot of real estate. They have CFOs, but why don't our kids know this? And this is not something that's what do you want to call it, a conspiracy. It's just that as we are all going and being raised, we're taught on how to grow up and get another level of education. But what do we do with money? What if you're not going to be, you're not going to go to college? What do you do with money?
That's a debate right now. Should people make the investment in going to college, or should they leapfrog right into starting their own thing? What are your thoughts?
Well, if you're going to be a doctor, please go to college. Don't start cutting people open because you watch a couple of YouTube interviews. All right? I fully believe in higher education, but really know what you really want to do. I have a group of teachers and educators that are helping me, not with this book. This is not about the book. This is about me going in this direction for the rest of my life and letting this be my legacy of teaching our families and kids together. And anybody who wants to join, please join, right? And I'll highlight them about financial intelligence, right? But I was talking to one of my people in my educators group, and they said, what do you want to be, to all their children? And they said, well, what do you think you're going to have to do to be that? What is the actual job? Because they need to know what the process is. So if you are going to go to college, which I do believe in higher education, whether it's college or whether it is mentors or whether it's direct curriculums or working on site, whatever the case may be, you need to have a better understanding of what you want to do. And if you don't have that understanding, well, then learn the basics. Go to college for business. You're always going to need to know business, right? Go to college for various other things, being able to write content, being able to communicate. But I do believe in higher education. You just have to make a smarter decision on if it's for you.
Talking about scalability, what are 5 characteristics that you think every entrepreneur should have?
That's a good question. I don't know if I've been ever asked that about 5 characteristics. All right. Well, number one, they have an extreme passion about what they're doing, and they understand that they would do it for free for the rest of their life if they could. I would dress people for the rest of my life if I could. And I'm sure you would communicate and try to empower people the same way you're doing for the rest of your life. Number 2 is they're absolutely obsessed with their customer. They're not doing it for them. They're doing it because they're customer. They're trying to solve a problem, or they're trying to bring somebody joy. And every single morning when they wake up, they're trying to find a better way to service their customer. A complaint is not a complaint. A complaint is you should make this a little bit better for me. I love what you're doing. Please help me and make it a little bit better. They have to have financial intelligence. They have to understand how to operate a business. Even if you're running a charity, it's still a different tax filing, but you still need to operate a business because you have to pay for the lights, you have to pay for the rent, even if whatever you're doing, right? So financial intelligence is key to running a business, whether the business is a large corporation or the family at home, on how mom and dad and the kids are going to make it and grow equity in their home and educate themselves. It's a business. Everything is a business. That's number 3. Entrepreneurs also, they take affordable steps. They don't go and try to build everything because they see everybody on Instagram has all these big, huge successes. No, they don't. They take affordable steps so they can recover from those, mistakes and or successes. And last but not least, they understand it's a team sport and they constantly have to learn. They're always educating themselves. They're asking other people to help them. They're vulnerable to an extent, not weak, vulnerable, meaning, Vanessa, I know all this about this area, but you know what? I don't know what you do, and is there any way that you can help me and educate me, and in return, I can do whatever for you that I can do. And that is a team sport, and that's what entrepreneurs do, and that's the key to being an entrepreneur. It's kind of like being a parent, right? You bring a child into the world, you figure it out. There's no book that's going to show you how to do every single thing, right? You figure it out. You ask other people advice, right? You love exactly what you're doing with your child, right? You're taking affordable steps. Your kid doesn't go to this school and then go to college immediately. It's the same thing.
As an investor on Shark Tank, that you've seen countless pitches,
Yes.
right? What's the difference between a good pitch and a great pitch?
That's a great question. A good pitch is something that you say, there's some opportunity here, and the person tells you all about the opportunities available, what they've been through, and where you could potentially add value and profit. A great pitch is, I'm going to do this with or without you. I hope you're aboard, but if you're not, don't worry about it. I'm just sharing a great story with you. And you're in love with that person, you're in love with, maybe you're in love with the product, but more importantly, you are in love with that person. You're like, I want that person in my life.
But how many people have done that?
Many.
Really?
Many, yeah, sure. And that's not just in business, right? Meaning me investing, that's my staff, right? That's my clients who I work with. Many clients will become friends, but many of your friends won't become clients. So it's all about really, the human aspect of communication. We want to be around like-minded people we learn from, people we enjoy just being around. And the total opposite, you can think of it too. If you come into a room telling everybody your problems, well, I got my own problems. You mean every time I call you, you're going to tell me another problem? Well, I'm not going to call you.
Got it. Well, I won't call you with problems.
Don't call me with problems.
I will not do that. Let's talk about worsts. Worst business advice you were ever given.
Yeah.
And worst mistake you ever made in business.
It wasn't advice. It was more of an attitude. And this attitude may work or not. But the person was something like, they have the money, they have that money they could lose. A lot of people think like that, no, it's not money that they can lose, or because somebody is super wealthy or they've lost a lot of money, that doesn't matter. When you discard people, I think that is horrible. And that's and even though you're doing a legal business, that's one level to me, one level before you become like a con person. I think that there is an attitude some people have of, I want what I want, and you've made some stupid decisions, or you've just blowing money, and you know what, I'll take your money too. What was the next question?
Worst mistake you've ever made in business?
Not having financial intelligence early enough in my life, because I didn't know what I didn't know. As African Americans, many of us haven't come from legacy wealth. So we don't have a grandfather and a grandmother to maybe tell us that. And when I was coming up, there was the encyclopedia and some other stuff that was written 10, 20, 30 years old, not like today when you can go on and immediately see what's happening in the market or various other things. So my information was limited. Not that it wasn't there, because it still had New York Times and various other things, right? But I didn't have financial intelligence, so I almost went bankrupt 3 separate times. 2 times when I did not have money, and 1 time when I did have money, right? And to not have financial intelligence was, if you notice that 65% of athletes and lotto winners are bankrupt 3 years after leaving the league or winning the lotto, and we look at them and we look at people, oh, you blew it. No, they were the best physical specimen in the world, right? And they competed against millions and millions and millions and millions of people to be somebody that we can value or respect. They weren't taught financial intelligence. There's nothing wrong with what they did. You don't know what you don't know. And thank God when I started making money, it wasn't like an athlete where they make the peak of their income 22 to 28. I kept making money, so I turned around and said, wow, that's gone. What did I do? And I think that a lot of people believe that if they are not living in the way they want to live because they make $50,000 a year, they think that when they make 50 million, that's going to change. No, instead of a $100,000 house, you're going to buy $5 million homes, right? And you're going to spend accordingly up to what you have, right? And then you're going to lose it just as fast.
Wow, I think actually that's a great way to end, come full circle. Financial literacy, as you said, is incredibly important. Your new book, Little
Daymond Learns to Earn. It is for parents and kids together. This is my journey for the next 10, 20 years to break the cycle of, or not even break the cycle, bring awareness to the fact that families, we work so hard and we want our children to understand what they're doing. Remember, the fact or the stat is that your kids will take care of you 2 times longer than you will take care of them. So you want them to have financial intelligence just if you want to be selfish. But besides being selfish, where does stress and where does divorces and domestic violence and all those things come from? The lack of finance, right? And so that's what happens, right? And so if we do that, if we teach them and give them a better footing forward, then hopefully we will create a lot of other sharks. And I hope everybody watching, I hope their children become bigger and better than Daymond John ever will be.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Daymond, for being with us.